Hey, welcome to another guided SimCity 4 walkthrough. I'll be hosting. I'm EffTheGrid, and this is Launceston, one of my southern suburbs. Today I'm running through a bunch of networks and just cleaning up a bunch of projects that I've started and not finished yet. Down here, this is the continuation of, if I'm not mistaken, Grassmere Boulevard, which is one of the main arterials through this southern part of the region. And this is linking up an existing shopping center that's adjacent to the highway, and a bunch of frontage roads and all that, with one of the older avenues that the highway was built to bypass. And so, oh, I love these lanes here. They came out really good despite being a bit of a bottleneck. These are really cool. These are the LA apartment buildings and LA homes on Simtropolis, built on the exchange. They're really cool. These are a really nice set too. These Toronto, shopping district. They're really fun, those little commercials. I decided to do this old school streetcar suburb thing over here because I think the area, it's nice to have older development interspersed with your newer development and your highways. That way you tell a richer story about how the region evolved and why there is development in the first place. This is an FA road that I decided to run through, and I'm really struggling with the intersections. I wasn't exactly sure what to put there because it comes together at a cockeyed angle, but I came up with this thing using some old deprecated pieces, and I really like the way that it came out. Building out the neighborhood streets here with FA3. When I say FA3, if you've not been tuned in, FA3 just means to say fractionally angled road. So here are some little alleys in the back. This is going to be a commercial district, and I thought it would be nice to have some smaller streets abutting the main road. Sometimes you see that. Everywhere's a little different. I like that the highway becomes a little more slight in stature as it enters the populated area. You can see here I'm devising my own sort of scheme for on-ramps. I'm not really doing anything proper with these ramps. I'm just combining some pieces that I know already exist. And you know, we used to use puzzle pieces with the network add-on mod, and so I'm a little old school like that. I'm really not afraid to just put things together, and if they work, they work. I mean, you can put draw paths on and see that everything connects. So, and later in the video, I'll show you the route query. Everybody's using the road, so it's nice that you can connect these things in ways that aren't by the book. Like that there was interesting. I was just trying to avoid redoing some work, and so I put all these connections in really haphazard, but they work and they look fine. I think they totally look fine. They work great. I mean, if you see here in this shot, all the highway connections are totally functioning, so it makes me feel really good to have a functional highway setup like this, and almost FHA standard. You know, almost MUTCT by the book. So this here is another little street that just goes through the neighborhood on a wacky angle. I think it's nice to have some of them. I was just trying to make a mountain out of a molehill here with this intersection because I thought having a big intersection would make the transition feel a bit more natural between this larger fractionally angled avenue and its surroundings. This here is development along the frontage road. This is going to be sort of an industrial commercial area along the highway here, as they tend to develop. See, these are kind of fancy, these ramps, despite being completely improvised. I'm just using flex pieces and draggable one-way road and one piece of fractionally angled MIS. And aren't these interesting ramps here? I've never seen anything like it. I just kind of came up with them. Laying the groundwork here for some gentle zoning density. This is going to be an interesting roadway here. I wanted something that felt a little bit like a Strode. A lot of lanes, a lot of turning, but not so angry for the residents that live along it. So this is like a little frontage road that they have just for parking and driveway access, and so the sidewalk's a little bit more calm. It's, I think, nice for people in dense environments like this to have different options and how to get to their homes, rather than having to depend on these massive roadways. It's funny because this one sort of tapers into nothing here with this little fractionally angled road, and I'm just grassing it up. These are fun little pieces too. These are literally just grass pieces, so they're a bit less resource intense than the open grass area. I'm still trying to make this as complicated as possible, but I think it worked out in the end. I came up with this really interesting little intersection solution that made a traffic light for everybody, and I think it looks and feels pretty good. I like that there's turn lanes for everybody. So here I'm just putting in some residential. I wanted this to be a low density transition area. This is all on the outskirts of the city, or the urbanized region, you know. City and suburbs tend to blend a lot more than people realize, huh? It's funny how the nomenclature changes depending on where you are in the world. What is even a city or a suburb? I live outside of New York City, in Hudson County, New Jersey, and it's incredibly dense here. Some people would say it's a city. Some people would say it's the suburbs. None of them would agree. What do you think? Where you're from? What is a city? What is a suburb? Let me know in the comments. I'm actually really interested to hear it because my built environment around me influences my SimCity style a lot. And so I wonder what you all think. Here's another alley on the commercial district. Putting in a school inside the neighborhoods, I figure this fractionally angled street might be a nice street for kids to walk down. And there's a little bit of stuff here like an Eckerd's Drug and a gas station, drugstore, whatever. It's nice that people don't have to go out onto the main road to the malls for this stuff. It seems like there would be a lot of highway cut-through traffic in this area, and so I did my best to try to provision the residential areas to be livable. Something I try to emulate closely is development inside of these ramps. Like you can see there's a garbage processing facility, a gas station. I like to put all those things inside the ramps. Very realistic for where I live. And here we have the industrial area filling in. It became a little bit more high-tech than I wanted to see, but that's okay. I guess these Sims have money. And you can see here people are using the highway. How cool is that? I love to hear it. I love to see the traffic. Those little pathways mean so much to me because a lot of the time we build these highways and They often become decorative statement pieces in our cities more than functional arterials. And so, for people to be commuting from one corridor to another across a few virtual miles of landscape is pretty cool for the simulator to run. And I just love watching all these lots fill in over time, too. It's pretty cool to watch it densify and develop. And what's nice is that even though I've inadvertently created separate sections of development, this is how the world developed. Different developers came in at different times and laid different plots. Here I am upgrading the intersection here. This was a really wacky few ramps. And just improving this connection here. Giving a little more space on the highways so that there's not such an intense weaving situation for the people that are already on the road. Just doing a bit of grading work. Making sure everything is going the right direction. And there we go. And the same thing on the other side of the ramp. And this just makes it a lot easier for people to enter the roadway in a more realistic way so that there wouldn't be so many accidents. I mean, I just try to provision things as if I had to drive on the things and as if I had to live here. So maybe I should do a nicer job with my neighborhoods. Just making sure that the people coming off of this street won't try to zip onto the highway or vice versa. You know, sometimes you need to get hyper-local about these things. And maybe having a light before the ramp will control people on the local road from platooning too much. This was an interesting thing I tried. I don't really like the ramp as much that way, but it definitely works better. Moving that bottleneck. And just fixing the grading up here to carry the roadways over. And just standardizing this ramp as well to match all its friends. That was the oddball. Just trying some things out over here too. Little slip lanes are the best. If you're curious about drawing these little slip lanes, you just make a one-way road out to the right and then connect it with the road tile. These are my North Bergen narrow lots. I use them a lot. They're really uniform. They're kind of diverse. At the same time. Very rare. This is an interesting roadway. I was trying to put in a boulevard of sorts and make it feel very natural within the old existing street grid. I like these types of things. They sort of signified development over time, rather than all at once or in a super planned way. And this beefy intersection felt necessary between all these roads, so I upgraded that too. Nice to have all these little lanes to choose from and all these transitions to make it feel smooth. And same thing on the roadway here, just did some intersections to make it feel a little bit smoother. This one was sort of a conundrum. I never know how I'm going to approach something like this. You know, it could be a circle, it could be an interchange. It really depends on where we are in space and how the neighborhood feels. I tried really hard to do a circle here, but at the end of the day, it just became a standard intersection. And I'm not mad at it. I think it was pretty easy in the long run. These things just take a little bit of fiddling around. So this type of development is indicative of one larger developer coming in and developing many parcels at the same time. It's something that we saw a lot in Queens, within New York, and in parts of Jersey, and all over Manhattan and the Bronx. There were developers that would build the exact same types of home all over again, over and over, down different streets and different blocks. And you can see it from the air, you can feel it on the street. It results in a very cohesive building style. Just adding some larger development over here, just to make it feel a bit more in the city. I tried to do some kind of housing development. I love using these housing projects, these ploppable ones. And these New York businesses are also a great download. All of these NYBT, I don't know what you call them, New Law buildings, they're great. These Bronx buildings from way back in the day, they're amazing. If you don't have them, you need them. I love anything fractionally angled, especially if I don't have to make it. Running some water to the NYCHA projects, unlike NYCHA. Interspersing some commercial in with our neighborhoods. I threw in a park, just for fun. I thought this was sort of a neat design. It's cool to see how the neighborhoods don't look exactly alike. They're all a bit different in character. They have different layouts and different residents, all doing different things. Reminds you that places evolve over time. They don't just spring up. Here I'm adding these awesome sound barriers by SM2. There's one that if you add it on a slope, it corrects to the slope, and you can basically add it at any slope interval. And that's the one I use the most, just in case you have trouble using these. I assume that if you have any questions, you can slow down the video and see what's going on in depth. But if you do have questions, don't be afraid to reach out either in the comments or on the forum. I'm on there periodically, and there are a lot of really sharp minds on Simtropolis. They know way more than me. So, yeah, reach out on Reddit and to the broader community. This game is so alive after so many years. It really surprises me. It's a thrill to watch new mods come out and to feel the difference that they make. Even these draggable bridges, that's something I could not have imagined just a few years ago. I guess I should take a moment to thank the developers of the network add-on mod, and really of all the pieces of custom content that are in the game today. Um, it's incredible what a difference this work has made in preserving this game as not just a worthy counterpart or rival or what have you for City Skylines, for newer 3D franchises, but also as a continuation of our existing creative outlet as a community. It's really incredible to take an old thing and to just keep fixing it. Now you can really see how different the neighborhoods all are. Isn't that fun? But anyway, yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you for making this game. Thank you for fixing it up. Thank you for pouring yourselves into it. And thank you for watching. I mean, what a fun time this is, right? Let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Please give a like, subscribe. If you're not even a YouTube person, hop on there just to know that people are enjoying this and what you might want to see more of, because obviously there's a ton of stuff in this region to go through and pick apart. So if you have any questions, suggestions, drop them below. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you very much.